Good morning, students. In our last class, we have discussed the organic evolution. That is we have discussed the Lamarckism. That is Lamarck who introduced Jean-Baptiste Lamarck introduced two theories. One is used and a disused theory, and inheritance of an acquired characters. So inheriting of acquired characters, that is acquiring, that means taking place, that characters are transferring from one generation to another generation where we are acquiring the characters. So that characters are utilized. If used continuously, here these organs will develop, development will be taken place. If the organs are not utilized, here what happens is that gradually this disintegrates and disappears, that otherwise their function will not be taken place in the organism. That is explained by a doctor, that is Lamarck. Next, coming to the Darwin's theories. Darwin's theory. Darwin theory. So here, Darwin's theory, here we can use the word as a biological and evolution also. Here we can use the word as a biological and evolution. We can use the word as a biological and evolution. What is this biological evolution? Means any change in any genetical change in a population which are inherited from a generation to a generation. That means any change, that is any change in genetical change taken place in an population, and inherited from generation to generation. So here that means the genetical characters which are present in an organism, that should be a change in a population. That means in a population what are the genetical changes are taken place that are inherited that should be transferred from one generation to the another generation. It should be a transfer. So when the transferring here, acquiring of a few characters are producing. That was explained. Example, we can go for a Darwin's theory. We can take place. An example for the biological evolution is we can take place the Darwin's theory also. Why means here in a genetical, that means it is taken place in a population only, not in an individual. The genetical, that means biological evolution is taken place. In population, population only, not in an individual, an individual. So this type of process we can call as a biological evolution, where we can make an example for this is a Darwin's theory. So here Darwin's he explains three observations. Darwin's explains three observations and two conclusions. That was explained by the Darwin's theory. So what are these Darwin's? How they explain Darwin's theory? That is 3 observations and 2 conclusions. Now we will discuss this one. So here Darwin's theory explains 3 observations and 2 conclusions. So in this one, first one is the overproduction. Overproduction, or otherwise we can write this probability of production. So here overproduction is the name only indicating overproduction. That means if the increase more than the normal, if the population is increased the more than normal rapidly, the increasing of the population, then we can call as an overproduction. It can be defined as the multiplication of population by the fasterly or rapidly. Then we can call as an overproduction, or we can call as prodigality of a production. So here, what is this overproduction means? It is rapid multiplication of the a population than the normal, then it is called as a production or prodigality of the production. So here increasing, that means when the population is increasing, here increase the population rapidly, that means fastly. How it is taken place means in the form of rapidly, not more than the normal, in the form of geometrically, if the population is gradually increasing, then we can take place as a production. So here increasing the normal. When increasing the normal, what happens here? It takes place if the population is occupied. Such type of species only and single individual species only will occupy the total and environment. For example, if it take a place, best example, already you know that a bacterial cell. So here a bacterial cell will undergo replication or multiplication or reproduction here within for every 30 minutes. 30 minutes here it undergoes the replication or it undergoes a reproduction. For every 30 minutes here bacterial cell will undergoes a replication. So that what happens means here for one day, that is within 24 hours. Within 24 hours, here it produces millions of bacterial cells are present. That means within one day only, here millions of bacterial cells are presented. So that if this one day if it takes place means if it is 100 days, here totally that are occupied. That means only a bacterial cell only will occupy the entire environment. So that this type of property we can call as an overproduction. That means more than this it is taken place. So this condition we can call as the overproduction or prodigality of the production, where here rapid increasing of a population is taken place. Otherwise, if you take another example, if it taken place primrose plants. This unique primrose plants will produce the seeds, that is the 1,18,000 the seeds are presented by the plants. So if all these seeds are germinated, here what happens, here the entire earth will occupy these plants only. So that what happens, only few of them are germinated and other will be eliminated. So here for elimination there are various factors are presenting which helpful for the existing of the environment. That means to delete from the environment here the scarcity of light or availability of food materials, or it may take place the land, the occupation of the land. So here various factors will helpful for to not produce, that means they cannot able to germinate. So that what happens, some will be reduces, only few can able to grow and helpful for the reducing the population of the evening primrose plants. So here increasing rapidly, if it increase rapidly, what happens, here it leads to the overproduction. So here this overproduction means rapid multiplication of population more than the normal in the form of a geometrical process. Then we can say as an overproduction. Next, coming to the second one. So here second one is the constancy of size. Constancy of size. That means the constancy of the size means if the population is increases rapidly also, here the population remains constant only, will not be either increases nor decreases. So as once it is increases, it becomes in an stability. That stability you can call as steady of the population, or otherwise you can call as an equilibrium. It we can call as an equilibrium. If it is, it can be defined as constantly of that despite the population increases, despite the population increases, but the size of the population will remain the size of the population remains constant, will remains steadily, or a constant and becomes equilibrium, that we can call this as a constancy of a size. That means constancy of size means if the population is rapidly increases also, out of these, example, if it takes place, a bacterial cells only, a bacterial cell. So here the bacterial cell will increase rapidly for every increase. That means here overproduction is taken place. When overproduction is taken place, here some of the bacterial cells may not able to survival due to lack of food materials, due to lack of space, due to lack of food, shelter, and also these factors, environmental factors will affect, so that some of them will be disappears means gradually in decreases in number. So when they becomes here, when they decreasing here, the population of these bacterial cells will become steadily or constantly. When it becomes steadily or constantly, it becomes an equilibrium. So that is the constancy of size. That means here the population is increased also, the number of population is increased, that population will become so constantly, will not be changes from that means they cannot be able to change. That means if they change, there increases or decreases, but this population will become an equilibrium. At one time, the population will become an equilibrium. Equilibrium will become a constant only, where there is neither increases nor decreases. This will be taken place. So that is we can call as a constancy of the size. Where example we can take a place overproduction. If increases, what happens? Only few of them only will be presenting on the Earth surface, on the environment, or in the natural selection. So such species will increase their number. Remaining species will gradually eliminated or deleted from the natural selection. So that is called as a constancy of the size. That means population increase also. Here the population will remain so constant only, will not be increases or decreases. But at one time they becomes an equilibrium. Equilibrium becomes constantly either increases nor decreases is taken place. So such condition we can call that as an equilibrium. So this is the second character which was explained by the Darwin'S. Next, coming to the third one is the struggle for existence. The struggle for existence. Here we can call this as the struggle for an existence. Here struggle for an existence. That means here the organisms which are presenting, here it should be taken place, the competition between the organisms. If these are in a population, the competition is taken place. The competition taken place between two organisms of same species or a different species. So this type of process we can call as a struggle for existence. That means if you struggle, if a competition is taken place between two organisms, here one organism will be benefited, another organism will be loosened. So the organism which are benefited, their number is gradually will increases. Where here the loosened organism gradually they are deleted in the natural evolution. So here it is taken place the competition. That means competition may be taken place between the same species, or it may take place in a different species also. That means same species, same population, or a different type of race or different type of population. Here the competition may be taken place. The species which are benefited and gained, or which are the species which are gained, their number is gradually increases, and the species which are lost, they are gradually will deleted from the environment. So such type of process we can call as a struggle for an existence. That means if you exist, it should be existing. Existing means if you have to survival in the nature, we have to struggle. Struggle means we have to fight with other type of other species or other population. We have to struggle. Then only we can able to survival in the nature. If you are survival in nature, if their number is gradually increased from generation to a generation only. So that is a main concept which was explained by the Darwin'S, that is the struggle for an existence. That means to exist, that means to present in the nature, we have to struggle with other species either for food, shelter or any other environmental factor. Here the organisms should fight with one another, then only they can able to survival in nature. If they not survival means their number gradually decreases. When decreasing, these organisms will become into an extinct. So such type of process we can call as a struggle for an existence. So here this struggle for existence is classified into three types. Classified into three types. These are classified into three types. First one is called as intraspecific species. Intraspecific struggle. Intraspecific struggle. And second one is interspecific struggle. And third one is an environmental struggle. So these are the three types of struggles, where it is intraspecific, interspecific and an environmental struggle. So here intraspecific means intra means in between. That means if the struggle, that means exists the struggling, that means fighting with one another is taken place between the same species. That is struggle is taken place between same species, then we can call as intraspecific struggle. For example, in this intra-struggle species it may take place giraffe, a long neck as well as short neck giraffe. Here long neck giraffes are very short in nature. Long neck giraffes are very short, that means where some species are presenting and long neck giraffes are very few in number and short neck giraffes are more in number. So here due to the scarcity of food materials, the long neck giraffe can be able to get a more amount of food materials. By means they are having long neck so that they can be able to catch the food materials or grass or leaves of the long tall plants. The short neck cannot able to presenting, so that gradually the long neck giraffes increase their number from generation to generation, but short neck they gradually decrease their number due to scarcity of food materials, where here the short neck will becomes into an extinct organisms. So here the competition is taken place between two same type of species, then we can call as an intraspecific struggle. That means here the competition between the same type of species. And inter means in between. In between means here the struggle is taken place. The struggle is taken place species. That means here are the species where the fighting will be taken place between two different species. Then here the species which are having a stronger, they fight against weaker, so that gradually they increase their number. So such condition here, the species struggling is nature between two different species, then we can call as an interspecific struggle. Next, third one, an environmental struggle. Here environmental struggle means here the struggling, the organisms which are presenting, the competition is the competition is taken place between environment and the species. That means the competition is taken place between environment and the species. Here environment from the food, the shelter, or a drop or any other conditions. That means here from these food, shelter, clothing, all these materials, or the air, or light, or the any other factors, the water, or light, or food, shelter, or any other environmental factors which affecting the fighting, the competition, or the struggle is taken place between environment and the species. Then this type of struggle we can call as an environmental struggle. So it is a competition, that is, if the competition is taken place between the same type of species, we can call as intraspecific species. If the competition is taken place between two different species, then we can call as interspecific species. Or third one is if the competition is taken place between the environment and the species, then we can call as an environmental species. So this is where we can call as a struggle for existence. That is, the struggle for existence, to exist in nature, that means to present in the nature or environment, we have to compete with the other species, or the same type of species or a different species. Here a competition should be taken place, then only we can able to fit in the environment or the nature. If we fit for the nature, here their number only will decrease, increases in number. That means their number will increase from a generation to a generation. Their species only will increasing. Gradually, the defected species gradually will decreases and becomes into the extinct. So this character we can call as the third very important character, that is it is a struggle for existence. Nowadays we are also use this formula. I mean, if you fight with one another in any competition, here for example, if you take a competitive exam, there are 10 seats are presenting. Here the individuals are hundreds or thousands are presenting. In these we will fight to get one of them. Then their number only, that means they can able to get the seat, so they can able to fit in the environment. So this type of theory, that is, this is the very most important, that is the struggle for an existence, where now up to now we are utilizing these formula or principle which was invented or which was discovered by the Darwin'S theory, so that here Darwin'S we can call as the father of the evolution. So remaining that we will discuss in the next class.